this weekend, officially, Spider-Man Homecoming is out worldwide. It's been a long time coming. Probably, I think it's easy to say this is one of the most highly anticipated MCU movies among fans ever. Like, it's fucking Spider-Man, guys. You know, it's finally happening, and it's tracking rather low compared to what people expect a Marvel MCU movie, specifically Spider-Man, to track. And I think there's a lot that goes into this, and I think one is franchise fatigue is a major part of Spider-Man now.
Mm.
Really?
Sony's marketing for this has been terrible.
But like,
Like,
isn't it like
shown...
projected at like 120 mil?
I've seen optimistically people are saying 100, and Sony themselves is only saying 80. I know, right? Like, I'm like, there's no way it does 80. Like, that's low as hell. Like, Amazing Spider-Man 1 did it better than that. That's not possible you're going to go that low.
Like, if they thought that's what it was going to be, they wouldn't have made the movie. There's no way. Like, it's going to be over 100.
You would have to imagine it has to be. Like, well, I mean, that's why we're here talking about the predictions and everything. It's going to have a big weekend. I think they're afraid of saying it's going to be higher just due to the investors. Because remember, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 made a ton of money. Unfortunately, that movie, what's written in the books, is cost about $400 million to put out. And there was still money that's not accounted for with it that was kind of being used out like, oh, Spidey's going to be on top of the ball dropping on New Year's Eve. That apparently cost alone like $35 million to Sony. So that movie, by the time it came out, the money it made back, it never made money back. So this movie, I think they're looking at it being like, well, we can't tell our investors this movie's going to make 800 million and then to make 600 in its entire run, and we go, oh fuck, like that's a failed thing again. So I think they're just trying to cover their own bases, you know.
Plus, you know, TASM 2 opened up to 91 million.
Yeah.
So is Robert Downey Jr. worth like another 30 on top of that?
I mean, we're gonna find out.
Well, see,
I mean, there's a lot of goodwill behind the movie as well because people loved him in Civil War. So I can't see it doing less than 100. To be honest, like if I had to predict, I'd say 110.
I posted this on fucking Twitter the other day. I go to my house, like my parents' house, and I walk through the door, and behold, my dad is watching Civil War, and for the first time ever, my mom is sitting on the couch watching it with him, and I'm just like, what the fuck is even happening? And she's like, oh, this is pretty good. I mean, it's the first Marvel movie I've ever seen, and it's kind of harder to follow, but I get what's happening. I was like, and remind you, my mom still thinks every game console is a goddamn Nintendo. Like, she has no idea about any of this. So
that's just mums in general.
She doesn't know anything about comics. She still thinks, like, a comic book is like those little strips in the newspaper. Like, she has no idea any of this culture. Like, she's 100% tuned out of it, so it's...
Oh, I've made sure to teach them. Like, I've shown them how good. Like, when I get a top tier comic, it's like something drawn by Alex Ross or something, like painted. I'm like, this is
legit. My mom has never seen like any of the Alien movies, and that's literally like what my dad like. My dad is with Alien franchise like we are with comic books, and like she's never seen a single one, so she like completely tunes that shit out because she hates it. And like, I was like, how the hell are you watching this? She's like, oh, I don't know. I was like, what do you think of Spider-Man? She's like, pretty good. I was like, okay, interesting. I'm not bringing you to watch the movie because you're not going to like it, but, you know, who knows? I think there's something with the MCU that's bringing even more people in than what we think, and I think they're honestly lowballing this movie. Like, it's got to do more than fucking, like, 90, right? Like, it has to.
Yeah.
I don't know, so... I guess let's get into those predictions. What do you guys think it's going to make? Tom, what do you think?
110, 115, somewhere around that. I've got some confidence in it.
110.
Actual number, though.
Well, all right, 112.
Right in the middle. Perfect. Joe, what do you have?
I mean, I'm just going to go... I was going to go 85, but I'll give it, since it's Spider-Man, 95.
95. All right. Tristan, what do you got? Son of a bitch. Mitch, what do you got?
I'll continue my trend of going high. I'll say 120.
Damn.
Yeah. Then wait, what did you have?
I'm straight up just going 100, like right at 100. I don't.
I guess I'm leaning more towards that. This is how many movies of Spider-Man?
5.
Yeah, so I guess I'm leaning more towards that of like people will probably love this movie, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make the most money.
What did BVS make in its opening?
164, 164, 65.
Yeah.
And how many Batman movies was that?
It's true, but I don't know. There's something about like Spider-Man that's a little different. I think it's because it's so close that people liked Dark Knight Rises, even though we didn't, and not everybody liked TASM 2, similar like we did. So we didn't. Like I don't know. There's something about Spider-Man that seemed like it's been going lower every time. I mean, if I get it wrong, my life's not ruined. You know what I mean?
Well,
I'll be glad if Spider-Man gets over 95 million, because that means you probably make another one.
It's Rotten Tomato. I think that's going to be just like with Wonder Woman. I think it's a reassurance. Oh my God, this is a good one. And if you forget, the last 2 ones, they didn't have a fresh stamp on all those posters and marketing like this one is. But we all know it's going to drop to 84%. So
no, it's really no. Let's be honest.
I don't necessarily like that. Really. I don't like that all these movies are banging on. Oh, it's this on Rotten Tomatoes. Like I don't think I like that.
That's what they're doing with all the marketing now.
It's people that are banking on it.
Well, you see it in the marketing now that most of the superhero movies have. They got such and such on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, I don't.
Which is literally no different to having like the teaser or the trailer after the movie's come out, have like splash reviews all over it. It's
5 stars, says the guy.
See, I don't know, because I get the whole review thing, but because that's like actual people, and then Rotten Tomatoes is just the website that generates all that. Even though it has reviews on there that make up that number, I'd rather have like people 4 stars and stuff like that.
Well, what's the difference between 4 stars and 85%?
You know what it is?
I
think it's because the common person now has grown so accustomed to one brand. You know, it's kind of like, it's Marvel. Well, I'll trust and I'll go watch fucking Iron Fist, even if people say it's shit, because it has that Marvel brand. I think people have now unified under Rotten Tomatoes as an official certification of quality. And whether you agree with that or not, and I certainly fucking don't, like, you know, it's what it is, and I think it's perception.
Look, I'm not saying they shouldn't have jobs. Like Rotten Tomatoes, it's been there for a long time. It should be there, however long it should last. I'm just saying, I feel like they shouldn't just be plastering it, I guess, in movies. It just feels weird. It might just be just because it might have been recent that they started it. I don't really remember when the first one was.
It's in the last year or two they've been doing.
Yeah, maybe it's because it's new and I'll eventually get over it, but I don't know. I don't like it that much. It's just feels weird.
I just don't see how it's different to like 5 stars. And like if you go on like the cinema's website and it's got the movie with 4 stars, where did that 4 stars come from?
I guess
that Tomatoes, you know where it's coming from because it's just aggregating everything into one. Yes, the system might not be perfect, but it's still the same thing.
I guess like if it says what's a Hollywood Reporter gives Spider-Man 4 stars, and I think it's better than 4 stars. I'll go to Hollywood Reporter and be like, shit, it's better than 4 stars.
I think it could be the whole thing.
And I think it's just. I was gonna say for Joe, I think it's just because it's new that you're having a hard time.
It is probably that. There's just something about it that's weird. I'll eventually get over it. Who cares? But if
I go back and look at some of this, I think there was a big problem with when they used to use those splash reviews with a movie like Batman v Superman. Because remember when people went back and fact check all those tweets and a bunch of them were just made
I don't
up
like that either.
I think they want to avoid that again. And I think studios now have to put that Rotten Tomatoes in there because it's like official, quote unquote, right? It's like, oh, this isn't a lie anymore. You know, it's.
I mean, it was dumb that they were faking tweets in the first place.
I'd rather have tweets than Rotten Tomatoes, but either way, I hate both of them. Like, can't you just go back to like whatever you had?
The thing is, the tweets are a sign of a bad movie.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, sure, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. There's something about like just getting random people's like reaction about it, but those were probably most of them were fake. But if they got real reactions, that would be cool. Like that. That's
that'd be fun.
Yeah. quote to this guy's Twitter, and then like the guy who actually owned that Twitter account, who had never posted before, just posted a single status: "I did not enjoy Batman versus Superman."
Yeah.
Well, see, and it's like you can't be doing the whole. You got to like proof check them and all that, so you're not getting like fake people's tweets and stuff like that. Because it's a fun idea getting regular people's reactions to the movies and stuff like that. But at the same time, there's faults to everything they do, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but I still hate both.
They were just looking to credit what they thought were dead accounts on Twitter with praising the movie, and then when it turned out some of those accounts weren't dead, it just really came back to.
Well, they were dead, but they just logged in after.
They logged in especially to say they did not enjoy the movie.
I guess to me, like, it would be a fun thing. Movies probably would, like, marketing teams probably wouldn't do this because it doesn't necessarily help to the idea of marketing it, but it would be fun. It was just that they just get like the weird like tweets, like not like, oh, it was amazing, blah blah blah, like, oh, Spider-Man was so good, it made me do this and that, like stuff like that. I don't know, it's just a weird fun tweets, but I doubt they would do it because it doesn't necessarily give off like, oh, you should go watch it. It's just weird, like.
Yeah, it's weird, and I think now in our culture people need something like a Rotten Tomatoes because they want that simplicity, right? It's all about simplicity.
They want them iPhones. I hate them.
It might not even be simplicity. It's just they want a numerical value, and then like people can understand what a numerical value is. That's why you always get the what would you rate it out of 10. It's
That's like, stupid. What if I just liked it or not liked it?
But people don't accept that anymore because everybody wants the goddamn number, and it's a problem. Like that's a huge problem, you know.
I feel like it's been kind of dying down, the number. Like the number thing has always been a big thing. The people are still doing it. People probably still kind of care, but I feel like it's still slowly dying, the number thing.
Well, that's why the Rotten Tomatoes thing is kicked off because.
Oh, now they're back at it too.
Yes, not everyone really understands what that percentage means because the actual score is closer to the poster.
That's just how many people liked it, right?
Yeah,
kind of basically. Yeah.
I mean, like the only thing about the numerical thing that gets on my nerves is when they go, "Oh, this is a 8.3." I'm like, "What makes it an 8.3?"
Oh, like the end was 8 point something. So.
No, because then the thing I hate about numerical values is like nobody ever gives anything a 1 through 4 or something like that. Then what's the point of doing numbers? Right. You know what I mean? Then nobody ever gives 1 through 4. Like one of these days, the movie's got to get a 1. Like I said, Fantastic Four probably gets a 1 just because they showed up on set.
I think I gave BVS
Fantastic, definitely.
Like they just showed up on set. That's why they get a 1. But I don't know. It's just